Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Paranormal Connections radio show. I'm Christina George, your host, along with Chad over there.
Okay, yeah. How's it
Welcome back,
going?
to sir. You look a little devilish over there.
Yeah, it fits, I guess. With that, with the hat fits, wear it.
Oh,
Okay,
that's what it
yeah. So who do we have on here tonight? I've looked up the wrong guest, I think, and so I don't think I looked up the right ones for tonight. So I'm kind of
well,
learning as I go with this.
that's what happens when you're not at the show for a few weeks. See, you get all discombobulated.
Well, yeah.
No worries. Well, I am glad you're back. I'm glad we're
I'm
back.
glad to
Well,
be
I'll
back.
tell you, this crazy stuff with all of these shows. I did the show that I was supposed to do Thursday for Top Secret News. No matter what I did, we could not get the stream to start.
Oh boy, it's now this
Everything was
curse
set up.
this curse has moved over to that network now. So it's like it's yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the thing is like I do that show every week, just like this. I have no problem being able to start it and end it. It would not let me start the stream.
No.
It was so frustrating, and the guy was from the UK, so it was like midnight his time, and we're over
Oh,
there
boy,
trying to figure this shit
yeah.
out. So yeah, go figure.
I'm
All
convinced sooner
right.
or later this will stop. Sooner or later, I'm convinced.
One of these days, I don't know. We're just going to deal with it. That's all we're
Yeah,
going to do.
that makes it interesting.
But tonight we got a great show. We are actually going to have two guests. We're going to have Joe Vitale, and we're also going to have Matt Benton. Now, Joe is actually a paranormal researcher, an investigator, a musician, and an award-winning filmmaker, and he's part of the C1st Midwest Paranormal PRU, which is Paranormal Research Unit, and also has a YouTube channel called Entity Seven Paranormal. So make sure that you go and check that out. Joe's actually spent 30 years on and off investigating the paranormal across the United States. And he's also appeared on television shows like Kindred Spirits. And tonight we're going to be talking about his paranormal experiences and take your questions. Uh, Interesting enough, he had an experience, and Matt is actually our other guest, and he was the director for the Harrisville haunting. And so we're going to be talking to both of them about this subject. First of all, we're only going to have Matt for a short period of time because he has a stream he needs to do himself, and then but we'll be here for the full hour to take you guys' questions. Go ahead and put them in the comment section, and we will bring them on. All right, hold on just a second. Let's bring our guests. All right, Joe. Hey, Matt. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey,
Hello.
thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Joe.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's, start right off the bat, and let's talk about the Harrisville haunting and what it is, what it's about. Actually, I was surprised. A lot of people know about this. I just kind of came across it, and so I thought, oh, how interesting. I think we should do a show on this. But when I put it out, a lot of people were like, oh, you haven't seen it yet? Oh, yeah, it's super good. So obviously, people do know about it. So for the people who don't, that might be on the show tonight, what is it about?
Well, it's a documentary about the very infamous location from the Conjuring movie. The exact same location, except we tell the true story of the location and investigate the location for about 3 days. Um,
Okay.
and it turned out really interesting. And you guys get to see the what was captured and um, try not to go into spoilers for the people that haven't seen it, but some interesting things are captured. Interesting things happened.
Right.
And it's rare because we tried to film a documentary that Joe wanted to film one time. We didn't get anything, so it didn't become a documentary.
And that's the risk that you kind of take. Like, us going to the Conjuring House, there's no guarantee anything's going to happen. And if nothing happens, what do we do? I mean, we'd probably still put it out there, but it
It
makes
won't be a film. Yeah.
yeah.
Too much time and money put into a film. Like for a film, you have to put it through a distributing company, which is a lot of work and money. You have like all the post production stuff when it comes to music, CDSLs, for a distributor and all that. So it's like all these things you have to deal with when it comes to post-production. And so we're like, it's not worth it unless you get good stuff for the film and have a good storyline. So that's basically the reason why making a documentary on the paranormal is kind of hard. And also you could possibly be wasting money. I wouldn't say wasting. It's always a good experience at these locations, but you are investing a lot of time. So
Right.
Right.
And when we say storyline, we didn't have a storyline going into it. The storyline developed as we were there.
that's how documentaries go, though.
Right. And
Or should
I
go.
want to make that clear because some people are like, well, wait, the storyline. Wait a minute.
Oh yeah, we had. I was going to make a comment about this on our live stream later, but we just had a comment recently. Why is there? This must be fake because there's a writer in it and also producers. I'm like, yeah, because the voiceover was written. All my voiceovers that I did in the film is completely written. So of course, yeah, there's a writer for that, and that was
Right.
me and Tanya helped out with that too. And then there's also producers because it was an expensive film, so there's a little help in the funding. About $7,000 was for the film, so it takes a lot of money and
Yeah.
a lot of time. So
Well, I do like the fact, I mean, especially Joe, that you know, are very open of, you know, the first time you guys didn't get anything because people just have, I guess, from watching television so much, they just they have these expectations that every time they go on an investigation, like it's just going to be just filled to the rim with experiences and activity. And I will tell you, I have wasted more time. Well, I'm not even say waste, but I have spent more hours sitting in locations and getting absolutely nothing. And it's just part of it. Then I can come back another time and it's full of activity. So it's really hit and miss, but people do think that every time you go, like, you know, people are going to say, oh yes, it's full of activity all the time. And that's, you know, they're not circus, you know, animals and just,
Right.
you know, act on demand.
And that's been an issue on YouTube. A lot of people going to these
Yes.
locations and nothing's really actually happening, but you know, for the sake of entertainment and the views, stuff like that, it's they got to do something to keep people's interest. But no, it's not like that at all. I've been to like many locations, many different times, and I might get lucky.
Right.
that sounded wrong.
Okay. Well, you know.
Joe, what are you looking
Just
for over there?
None of your business. Wrong channel.
Oh, this would fit perfectly on this show for sure. Yeah, but I mean, again, I like that. And you're right, Matt. I mean, I've known a lot of filmmakers, and it is not cheap. So, you know, did you guys like go to the location to, you know, like see if you were even going to get anything? Because that, like you said, that is a big investment if you're not sure that you're going to get something. And again, being investigators, we know that just because you go there and you've invested a lot of money and you really want to, you know, share the story doesn't mean that you're going to get anything.
Oh yeah, that's just the game of the paranormal because even for my channel, Joe does things differently. He likes to put his episodes up still, even if he doesn't get much, just to show what paranormal investigating is actually like. But for me, I don't like doing that just because it takes a lot of time for me to edit, and I'm not interested in editing a video if I didn't get something good. So so I don't have that many episodes on my channel because for me to make an episode, I need a lot of activity or a decent amount of activity. And so it's very, very rare. You see one every once in a while on a blue moon. So if you see an episode pop up on my channel, you know it's a good one. So it's a good location. Or I shouldn't say good location because sometimes you just don't get lucky. It still is a good location. It's just it depends on the time you go because and the people you bring sometimes. So it's that's also a factor, I believe. But yeah, so where was I going with this? I can't remember.
Well, I was just talking about, you know, did you guys investigate, or like what made you decide to invest this amount of kind of money?
Well,
Well, the
most
money
of the
part
money
was
was
an
post-production.
accident. We didn't know it was going to be that expensive to really put out with a distributor, but yeah,
Yeah,
that was
the
kind of an
whole
accident.
distributor. I had to pay for an agent. I paid for part of some like insurance and all that costs
Right,
money.
right.
CDSLs cost money if you don't want to do it, which I don't want to do a CDSL. That's boring so and long time consuming. So it's so you have to pay for all those things, and it's just it got expensive, especially the music. I actually, because I bought so many music packs, the next film should be cheaper because of that reason.
You already
So
have
it's
them in your
I'm
library.
reinvesting. Basically, it's being reinvested to the next films.
Yeah,
So
plus you got two musicians who did a song for it for free.
yeah, for the credits of the film, we have a song in it for the next film. Uh, Next film is going to be way darker and way more intriguing. Let's just say that it's going to be way better than the last one.
Right.
So
Okay.
my interest in it goes back when I was a kid. I've heard of the Conjuring House, Ed and Lorraine Warren. I've heard the stories. I've heard different iterations of the things that were going on. So it's always been on my bucket list, and I honestly I never thought I or anybody would ever be able to investigate that location, and found out that it was available to investigate. And the thing is you would think that that would be big news, like all of a sudden everybody knows it's available to investigate, but it was kind of in such a way it seemed like kept quiet, like they weren't really promoting it or something like that. It was kind of weird, but I found out through this guy, Joseph McCartney. Is that his last name? McCarthy. He was telling me about it. I'm like, I want to go there. Then I was on the phone with somebody. I'm like, I want to go there. I want to like do something there. And then like literally, I like 5 minutes later at that, Matt calls me up. Now I'm on this 3-way call, and he's like, "Hey, guess what I found out?" I'm like, "Ah." So it went from there.
Yeah, the location. Since he was trying to do it, we were trying to do a documentary on a location he wanted to do, and it didn't work out. He's the first person I thought about. Here, let me call him about this location because this one is a star in its own. We already have the star; it's the house itself. So it's like it's already going to have a little bit of that grab and pull to a location for a film, just because of another very very big film that it's literally uh, it's the most famous horror franchise in the world, which is The
Oh,
Conjuring.
wow.
Yes, it's the biggest. It's the $1 billion horror franchise. So
Wow.
it's very famous, and so we're like, that could help a lot with the film itself and might be worth it in the end. Even though I was more interested in the location itself and all the stories about it because it was supposed to be extremely, very extreme, basically. And that was what I was mostly interested in. But also, for you to invest all this money and everything and make a film, you kind of like need a story, and this I thought was a good story, and it I thought it turned out pretty decent for a first film at the end because we're YouTubers. So it's like
Right.
this is my first film I've ever edited for a first film. So it's more of like uh, getting my toes wet in the film
A little
world.
beta
So,
test.
yes,
There were
Okay.
definitely learned a lot.
I learned a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we learned a lot.
and the next one will be better because of the things we've learned. So
Now, this location that this film is based on, where is it located at? I mean, if you don't want to give the name of what it is, that's fine. But what state is it located in?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, yes,
Yep.
in Harrisville,
Okay.
Harrisville, Rhode Island / Burrillsville, Rhode Island.
It's kind of strange because Rhode Island actually has quite a bit of activity and locations that are haunted out there. I have people who live out there. My daughter used to go to school out there, and yeah, she was always telling me about sending me different locations and stuff. And come visit me and you can check this haunted place out. So,
Yeah.
so how long did it take you to film film everything?
The film, it was only about 3 or 4 days of filming,
Okay.
and to that doesn't count the voiceover because obviously you're recording for that too. That's
Right.
a lot of different days. I
Right.
can't count. I didn't count those, but yeah. So for filming, it wasn't that long, but that the longer you film at a location, the better the film will be. And this next film, for example, we've had years and years of filming at this, like a decade almost. Of
Yeah,
filming.
this has been an ongoing investigation kind of thing, which it's kind of funny how that even like came together too. I mean, because Matt, he was at the Monroe House. What, 2016 was your first time there?
Yes. Yes.
One of the other guys involved, he was there from, I get like the very beginning. How long was Mike? Did he there for? Like, when did he first start?
I think he was investigating a place in 2014, I believe. Don't quote me, but I think that's what it was. 2014, 2013, one of those 2 years.
Right. So from 2014 and combining everything that we have up to this point, and maybe some more in November, we'll see.
Yep.
It should be a really cool, interesting, and as Matt said, dark documentary.
Things that are uncovered at this place is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
This one is this house. I knew from the beginning meant to be a documentary. This one needs to be a documentary. Like I could say that for very few places. This is one of them, and I can't wait.
I have said for quite some time that it's a very psychological haunting, which makes things more interesting. But I don't want to say too much. But hey.
Yeah, this location also apparently affects women. I even have my wife there, which is Hauntedly Beautiful Adventures.
Yeah. Yes.
Subscribe to that channel too, guys. If I had her there, she was affected a bit. I'm not going to go too in depth because you need to watch the film.
Right.
But people get affected at this place, and it's usually women most of the time. So, which is interesting.
Right. I know Dawn and we were there for 3 days. Dawn is my girlfriend. And it was, again, it was interesting. I'll say I mean, it's out there, of course, but we had a demonologist. I asked a friend of mine who's a demonologist to come out there, and that was interesting.
Do you guys think that whatever is there is truly demonic, or what are you thinking?
Maybe.
I will say, I'll go ahead and I will say, and this is just me, I'll say yes.
And what makes you think that, Joe? And I mean, again, you've been in the field for a long time, so I trust what you're saying as well. I just know, being a psychic medium myself, I know that there can be, spirits that spirits that are left behind that could have been just really, really horrible. I've had encounters with spirits that are like serial killers and things like that. And when women are in there, they're attacked, they're pushed, they're tripped. I've had all kinds of stuff, which truly made everybody believe prior to me that it was something demonic. And then we came in and I'm realizing I'm seeing a human spirit, so
right.
What's making you think
there's some red flags, like
there's red
manifestation of water.
That's what I want to hear about.
Manifestation of water out of nowhere. like droplets onto people. The
Mimicking people.
yeah, mimicking people. The psychological aspect of the place.
Right.
So there's a lot of red flags that kind of indicate possible demonic. And not everyone's going to have the same experience there. It's certain individuals.
Right.
It's being picky, choosy with the individuals, and that's also something what a demonic location would most likely do. And so, yes, there's theories, and I'm leaning towards it, but I'm also not 100%. So
Right. I mean, I guess we have to understand some of the history. I'm not going to give away too much of the history, just the stuff that's already known about it. But yes, there were rituals done in the house.
Okay.
There were certain items found in the house that had to do with the ritual and perhaps some other things. Also, another weird one too, and this is out there as well. There was a serial killer who had family who lived in the house. Now, I don't have any documentation on me to prove that. Other people say they do.
so we're trying to look for it.
Yeah, apparently he did take up residence there. So there's a possibility that he was at the house, which that would make things really
Way more interesting.
Yeah, then.
And do you think that there could maybe possibly be multiple things there that you're dealing with, not just one?
So I'll give my take on that. I honestly believe at this point, especially having a demonologist at the house, I can't get into too much detail on that, but I think it's one pretending, acting as multiple.
Okay. And what's your opinion, Matt?
Yeah, that could be a possibility. I'm not 100%.
Right.
If there's more than one there.
I could tell the skeptic in you, and just not being 100%, just kind of keeping it open that it could be.
Always. I'm like that with everything else with the paranormal, because
Right.
We don't know everything. We don't have
That's
facts of everything.
Right. I can only speak of experience with and other cases and things like that. That's where I'm coming from, but that's not to say I'm right. But
And also for me, I'm leaning more towards it demonic. Yes. So meaning I have, let's say, I'm 90% thinking that. Yeah.
Wow. Now, have you guys had any psychics come out and walk through the place with you guys and giving you any information?
We have one, I think, that is claiming to be a medium, and actually, yes, another person, but I don't know if she wants to be in the film is the issue. But I have information from this person, and this person is not a person that is usually on camera. Doesn't like to be on camera usually, but she seems pretty accurate in certain things. So
Nice. And Joe,
Yeah.
do you use psychics when you're investigating at all?
oh Lord, so no, I don't, and the reason is that, and this is going to sound horrible of me to say, but it seems like nowadays everyone
That
is
part.
a psychic or
Right.
an empath or something, and I don't want to not believe them, but at the same time, it's like that's a rare thing, and
Well, it's not as rare as you think, but I will agree with you. I knew people before it became like popular to do. Like I can remember when I first started, and like if you were on a team and they claimed to have a psychic, if they used me and said they had a psychic, we were just kind of blacklisted. It wasn't until television came out, and then it was like, okay. And then it was like overnight the light switch flipped and everybody was changing their profiles to psychic medium so and so, and it was very frustrating for those of us who have been out here forever, being criticized and still doing what we do. So I understand that, because there's even with as many people that I know that claim to be psychic, there's probably only maybe a very small handful, like that I can count on one hand, that if I needed to go to them, that
are accurate.
They're accurate, enough. And one of the things too is like, even when I go and do readings, first of all, I never ever want to know anything about where I'm going ahead of time. Never. I don't, because I don't want anybody to say that I could go research something, try to dig something up, find any information. There's a lot of trickery in this field. I will say I've seen it happen quite often. So I like that. I like that you guys are careful about that. All right, I am getting some questions coming in from Instagram and Twitter. So on YouTube or Facebook, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. I will be able to see them here in the studio. The other ones are coming in private. So hold on a second.
Dun.
Okay,
Let the questions flow. I'm just kidding.
Right. I have Lorenzo from Instagram, and he's asking, what's the worst experience you had at that location?
Oh, at the location. Okay.
Which location? We've talked about.
I'm guessing the
Conjuring House is what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not going to talk about the
We're not talking about the other one. So right.
Yeah.
We'll only talk
that
about
we're going to save.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this one, this house, I had a personal experience, and also it's not really worse though. We didn't have bad experiences there.
No.
It wasn't anything bad. So, Conjuring House, it was very interesting things happening there. And one of my personal experiences that actually affects the way of how I see investigating now to this day, it's changed me a little bit for the better. I think as an investigator, because of my personal experience there, and there's also the piece of evidence that we captured there that was amazing. That was very rare capture. Trying not to actually I can say what happens because we say it in the trailer, but you have to watch it to see it happen.
Okay.
The rocking chair moves on its own.
Now I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is. Like most people, it just moved, whatever. I see those comments, and it's like,
you know how rare it is.
Big deal. It's like, no, you don't understand. That's a big deal. Like that happened for like no reason. That happened.
Yeah, it's extremely rare for things to move on camera.
Hey, Mike. Hello.
And for me, I mean, I saw what I thought was one of the other guys, and it turned out not to be them. And then a little bit later in the documentary, we go back and we look, and something happens. I don't want to give that away, but it was. I'll say there were some weird moments there. I'll go ahead and I'll say, because we didn't unfortunately capture this because we had just got done eating. We were getting ready to start filming. The guys, they were outside. I went to use the bathroom, and I was walking out of the bathroom. I heard a little girl on the other side of the door say, "Daddy," like in an asking tone. Now, Bill, he was on the phone with his daughter, helping her with homework not that long before that.
And we go through the historical photos, and we find one that looks just like Joe. Just kidding.
You confused me there. I'm like, wait, what happened? Huh?
I was joking.
So it was weird, and they were outside. I even asked, like, would anybody just in here? Because here's what I heard. So it's just like really weird, random things that seem to happen. I mean, when we went back there a second time to get B-roll footage and some other things outside, we really didn't investigate the outside too much because there's like 3 feet of freaking snow. There's a horrific storm that came through, and I started seeing lights in the tree. Matt, you seen them too?
I don't think I was outside when you were.
No, I was not outside. I was inside. It was too cold.
I'm the one that went to the forest
Yeah.
when it's snowing.
Yeah. So I'm looking outside in the tree line, and there's like these lights up in the tree line. I'm like, what the hell is that? We never did capture it, but another team who did a documentary there, they captured it. And I had no idea that they had captured that.
Yeah, because
So
the
it's,
film wasn't released yet.
Yeah.
When we already did our investigations.
yeah, so I can vouch for them on that.
Yeah, they're like kind of like cemetery lights, but in the forest.
You know, I've actually
Hi.
heard that before,
hi.
like, and it's interesting that you say that. I've heard that happen before when people are getting ready to investigate, right when like a storm rolls in.
Mm.
Have you ever heard of that, Chad?
Oh yeah. There's several phenomenons that, like the missing 411. That phenomenon is always a storm that rolls in. Certain characteristics.
Interesting. All right, Lauren from Twitter is asking, when you guys investigate, do you ever provoke to get activity?
I do, depending on the entity.
Matt.
Depending on the entity, because if it's a negative entity, yes. If it's a regular person, then no.
I mean, I know people get. I'm gonna have to defend Matt on this one though too. So I tell Matt, hey, be careful when you're provoking people around you, because if it's something demonic, it won't just target. It won't target him directly. It'll
Right.
target somebody, right? We know how that works.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we may very well be provoking the second we walk through that door.
Just
I mean,
walking in.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine, like, just the human spirit. People like to. There are people out there who like to provoke, human spirits. Just imagine, though, you're just sitting around minding your own business in your home, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a bunch of damn people come trucking through your house, throwing gear all over the place, laughing and having fun, all excited. That would piss you off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
And then Joe says that we're bulldozing the house tomorrow. That's kidding.
Yeah, my thing is, now mind you, I've never had a demonic case or anything that I truly believed was demonic to even know how to interact with it. That's when I would have to call in the big guns of people I know as well.
You have to tread lightly, and
Yes.
you definitely need to let it know that you're not there to get rid of it or anything. You have to tread lightly.
I mean, I've even seen people provoke just regular spirits that are pretty nasty, but they're human spirits, and I've seen
actually, if you're talking to a serial killer or something like that, I'm not gonna respect a serial killer. Sorry, but I'm not gonna respect an evil person like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you would need to respect them, but what I've seen is that when people have went out and start throwing, insults and doing the provoking, I've actually seen things follow people home. And like Joe said,
yes,
they're not going to go. You say that, Matt, but let me finish.
All we can hope for.
Because, like Joe said, you are not what they want, because they know that you're okay with that. But if you have your wife, a child,
follow me.
You know what I'm saying? And it started doing something, to your child or to your, wife, something really bad,
Because they go after the vulnerable. Children are not off
and
limits.
they know, yes, and they know what your vulnerability is. Why would they come after you when you are challenging it? And that's exactly the response you want. They want to do something that's going to shake you. So that's why I just say be careful.
But there's something that followed me home one time that didn't affect just me. It affected everybody, like my neighbors, everybody.
Yes. Yeah. No, I've seen it happen. So that's what I'm saying. I know. Yeah.
Crazy.
So here's the thing. Things have changed now. I used to be single and by myself. So yes, I wanted things to follow me home.
But things have changed. He's married and stuff like that. He won't really do that anymore. But when he wasn't, Joe's got grandchildren.
But they don't live with you.
But that doesn't matter either.
I don't know. No, I get it. Yeah. I mean, it's just whenever I see that, it always kind of makes me cringe, only because I know people personally who have done that, and I've seen the chaos that has happened to them. And again, it never happens to them. It's like they'll
It's
call and
always
they're
a
like,
risk, though.
you wouldn't believe, uh, my girlfriend and her daughter were just in a horrible car accident. I mean, it was just like, when you talk about bad luck, it was just like something all the time happening. And, and he was just like, oh my God, maybe I should just get out of the field. Well, too late, buddy. I mean, at this point, you better figure out how to deal with it.
No,
Literally buying objects to see if I can get activity where I'm at.
When you're a rebel, I love that, but just be careful.
I also, and I will say, it was a couple of years ago when we had went to the Monroe house with some other friends. I was in the basement, like making fun of this thing, like just.
Oh, geez.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is one of those objects. This is the only one I've actually had experiences with when I got
Yeah, I
it.
bet.
It definitely looks like it should. Yeah, I don't do dolls either. I'm not a doll person. I had a horrible experience with a bunch of haunted dolls that my grandmother had. So yeah, I'll pass on dolls.
But
I've had objects move like 3 times when I got this one. Interesting. It stopped at 3.
So you got like the trigger dolls, huh? Trigger items.
Trigger items. Now I need to go
Like
put
lovely
them.
doll.
Yeah,
Catherine
when
loves
I'm
it.
when I'm out of the Marine Corps, I'm gonna have to get a shed and put them all in the shed.
Well, your wife says she used to be terrified by dolls, but not anymore. Obviously, if she's got a husband who like loves to collect stuff like that, yeah, figure it out.
Nah, she got rid of that fear on her own before that.
Okay.
She just, I think, got some, so she's not as scared of them anymore.
Hello, Susan. Susan's my good friend. She's from Nevada State Prison out in by Reno, Nevada. So hello.
we know the place.
Yeah, okay.
We need to
Stormy
go
says
there,
that
Matt.
doll is scary.
Good. I like
That's
it.
exactly what you want. Catherine says, not a fan of scary dolls in a haunted location, though.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't like the Monroe house then.
Oh, sorry.
You know what? I need to go back to the Monroe house and bring my haunted dolls and tell them to haunt my dolls, please.
There you go. Yeah, don't do that. When I used to talk to people like you, Matt, and I would try to convince them to not do all this stuff. And then, I would say at the end, I'm like, well, you do what you're going to do because you guys are the ones that actually, I would say more paranormal investigators keep me in business than anybody else. Because I've had, since it became so popular, I have people that are completely learning how to investigate online, watching television, and then they turn around and they end up with an attachment and they got stuff going on in their own house and they can't get rid of it, and then they're calling me like, oh, what do I do? Yeah, it's so you guys gotta do what you gotta do. Says I bought 2 dolls, even though I hated them, but I felt drawn to them for weird reasons.
Speaking of haunted
It's
items,
probably when you don't want to get them when you're gone.
and that's why you weren't scared of stuff following you home or worried about it because you lived by yourself. Did I ever tell you about the Aztec idol I took into my house, Christina, to see if it was cursed? I told you about all that, didn't I?
No.
What kind of?
And there's another like cursed item I took in, and nothing happened. Not nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What was that other item that you said stuff that did happen?
Yes. No, I actually
irritated. Down.
You mean where that ruined everybody's day? You mean around me?
It ruined everybody's day?
Well, no, something bad followed me back one time, long time ago, and it didn't just wreak havoc on me. Like my neighbors had all kinds of weird stuff that happened to them. My brother did. My neighbor's new car caught fire in his driveway. He'd just gotten it that day, and all kinds of weird stuff happened. Something can be so bad it radiates almost, But,
yeah, for me, like most of the time, I believe it's coincidence for these type of things, but you don't really know.
Sometimes.
Could be. I'll tell you, I had 2 haunted statues long ago that were plaguing this family. Now, one of them, as soon as I touched it, you could tell that there was something attached to it. The other one, I didn't get anything off of it, but the one was pretty crazy. So they had me take it home. I put those together with a couple dolls haunted dolls that somebody else had, another client had given to me, along with a Ouija board that somebody had wanted to get rid of, and I had them all together in my garage because I didn't want them in my house. And every time I turned around, like my door was flying open in the middle of the night. I had all kinds of stuff, so I ended up putting them all in boxes, salting and putting them in a storage.
If you ever want to sell any of them, let me know because I'm building a
Matt,
collection.
I won't even sell. You have no idea. I would ship them to you for free. I had
Oh, perfect. I'll just pay for the shipping.
There you go. When I was telling you about the dolls, like my grandmother had a whole bunch of Victorian dolls, and she bought them for all the. I'm the oldest granddaughter, so she bought for all the granddaughters, and so every year she'd buy another doll. And when I went to go live with my grandmother when I was a teenager, I slept in the room that all the dolls were, kept. And I don't know if they just hated me because they knew I could see things, but my grandma put me in there, and every night these things tormented me like crazy. So I left. I never lived there again. And when my grandmother died, the first thing that my uncle and my dad said was, "Oh, we found the box of your dolls, that grandma left for you." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't want them." And it was like, "You have to have them. Well, give them to your daughters." Like, "Nope, I don't. My daughters don't have dolls either. We're a doll-free family." And my dad died, and then all of a sudden, my uncle had them. And so my uncle knew what I had said before, so he just happened to just show up one day with this box with these dolls. It was like they were tracking me. Like I couldn't get away from the damn dolls. And yep, I surely sent them to somebody I knew. I'm like, "Hey, you want some haunted dolls? I'll be happy to send them right over to you." And so, yep, box them up, send them over. But Matt, yes, if you like things, yeah, I don't know how your wife's going to feel about that, but yes, I will definitely send them to you, no charge. So I wouldn't charge you.
I want the ones that you are for sure that are haunted.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I know. As soon as I pick them up, with my things, holding it and feeling the energy, there's nothing worse. I have gone to so many, private resident cases where people will say they have haunted objects and stuff like that. I'll go and I look at them, pick them up. Absolutely nothing. And it's like, and then especially like on eBay, can you remember when it was like they were selling all the haunted objects and haunted dolls, and people are spending all kinds of money.
They still do.
I thought they stopped.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, they still sell haunted dolls on eBay. The ones that
or gimmick boxes.
Yeah, and I haven't bought any of those. The only time I buy something is when they actually have a story and documentation to things. That's what I have. Two things that have documentation and has a good story to it. If it has no story, it's like, oh, it's just a random doll. They don't know anything about it, and they say it's haunted. I have doubts. It's strong doubts.
We won't mention a television show or a name, but there was somebody who bought a Dybbuk box and then gonna open it up for the first time live on TV, and he opened it up and like ramen noodles and some random stuff.
He said ramen noodles. Everything except for anything haunted. Yeah, it drives me crazy when I see, and that's kind of like the new big thing too, because I'm seeing all the time people like, "Oh, look at my new haunted item," and I'm like, "Oh, I still wish I lived close so that I could like check it out myself," because I love to call out people that like when it's not like, "Show me something, show me some proof that it's haunted." Like, just show me something. That's all I want to know.
Right.
Because I know people that travel all over the place with their dolls, and they're all prepared ones.
Are you sure that it's the item that's haunted? Because there's a theory I heard on that once where it's all how you view the item. If the item you view it as the physical representation of some entity and you bring it into your house, it's an invite. But if you view it as just an item, it doesn't have any like link to anything supernatural. That's some thoughts on some of that. So it's like, are items really haunted, do you think? Or is it how you're viewing it? I mean, I don't know.
I believe in the power of manifestation. So the people that are haunting the item or attachments or whatever, they're the ones that I believe give it power in some ways. Yeah. And so I don't believe it's the item itself usually. I believe it's the people giving it. The same with Ouija boards. Same thing. Right. I don't believe it's the board itself at all. I believe it's the people.
Okay.
that have a strong belief in it, or and they're playing with it.
Right.
And they're also that I believe that it's the people.
Right.
Well, a lot of the listeners are saying like the divot boxes are made up by a writer for a movie plot. I mean, what are you guys' thought on the divot box? Do you think that it's a legit
I don't know
thing?
if it was made up. It was. I know there's a movie called The Possession that was on, but I know the Dybbuk box was before that. Like before the movie came out, way before that. And so I don't know if that's true or not. Apparently, there's one Dybbuk box that involved the Holocaust and everything.
Right.
And supposedly it's supposed to be the one that Zach Bagans has, but I don't know. And
Well,
so
two guys that had it, or originally that, the story was based on. It was out of Portland, Oregon. It was a item a guy got in a what do they call that? If somebody dies, they sell all their stuff off. What is that called?
Oh, like an estate sale?
Estate sale, yeah. And it came, and he's right. It was about a Holocaust victim. Dybbuk was the Jewish demon and all that. But the dude was also involved in some other shows that was complete fiction. The guy that supposedly owned it. So it's hard to say.
Well, there was a guy who I guess he worked at a college or something like that.
Well, the guy that bought it originally from the dude or whatever.
From eBay. Like these kids had it and he bought it from
Right,
eBay and he thought, whatever, and then he had crazy stuff. So like the whole Dybbuk box thing, it's a thing. The problem is that there's not 1,000 of them out there. Like you will never ever see a real Dybbuk box. Like,
And
guarantee it.
Cases of demonic manifestations, can they really confine something like that to a box that's just content with being contained?
Well,
these are all questions that are nothing. It's only theories.
Well, but then the question comes to when we go to these places that are haunted, why are they just there? Are they stuck there? Do they choose to be there? Is there boundary? What's going? I mean,
there's a whole lot.
We don't know.
A little bit of and research in the last 25 years and got a little experience in demonic cases. It's usually there's a reason why that something like that's there, whether it was brought there through some kind of ritual or something before that. There's always an invite usually that causes something to be there.
But outside of the demonic, human spirits, because demonic spirits, in a way, to a certain point, I kind of sort of maybe feel a little bad because like they get like conjured at a place, but then they're confined there, and that would really suck. I'd be pretty pissed off too. But for a human spirit,
but these things like the whole thing about cemeteries being haunted, like they're it's a good place for something evil to it's a good place to get a chance to victimize people. They either come in there to talk to things that talk to spirits through some kind of divination, or they come there to grieve. Either way, they're in a vulnerable state. Maybe.
But I think that's just residual energy that's left at cemeteries. I actually find cemeteries the most most relaxing places out there.
Why would someone want to go where they're buried? Why would they? They would rather, I feel like, would go to a place to where they spent more time at, like
that is
like their own home.
And it does seem to leave an energy imprint. Let's say that because again, you're upset, you're grieving. If you're crying at the graveside, it all leaves there. Like Joe, for your what you were talking about, being able to connect with spirits, I've found like a lot of different reasons. Sometimes people don't cross because they die tragically or suddenly and they don't realize they're dead. So they will return to their home. It's kind of like Beetlejuice. It's like they can see that somebody's there. They just don't know why. So a lot of times they're trying to get you to think. Sometimes people will commit suicide because of their religious beliefs. They don't want to cross over because they think that they're going straight to hell, so they won't cross over. Some people won't cross over because they're afraid to leave their loved ones during the grieving time. There's so many different reasons, and some people, again, are there of their own free will. I've had people say, "Oh, can you cross spirits over?" Absolutely. They say, "Oh, well, if somebody doesn't want to cross over, will you force them? Can you force them?" And I get, I could, but why would I? If they're okay and they're happy and they don't need my help, if you're okay, why should I force you to do anything different? Now, if the homeowners don't want you there, then you might have to go somewhere else, but I'm not going to make you cross over anywhere. So I think there's all kinds of different things. I mean, we've got poltergeists, we got all kinds of different stuff, and a lot of that stuff can be created just from the environment and the people who are in the homes. So, so I think that's what is so great about investigating and researching in these kinds of cases and fields and stuff like that, is there's just so much to learn, and there is no one answer, I don't think, that you can say.
Yeah.
Right.
So the things that you guys are working on, so when do you think that the next film is going to be out?
Probably next October.
Okay.
I want an October release on this one because it's has that creep factor.
Yeah.
One issue though is that I'm getting back from deployments. I believe it was in August, so hopefully I can finish it within that time period.
Oh, gee, you got all kinds of stuff going on. Hold on just a second. Catherine is asking to the panel, if a doll can have a spirit in it, why can't a Dybbuk box?
I mean, it's entirely possible. I mean, it's possible, but the point that we were getting at too, though, was a lot of these Dybbuk boxes, they're not real. Those things are so freaking like rare. Like I said,
Right.
you're not like, if somebody shows you a Dybbuk box, it's like, I'm gonna straight up be like 100% sure that is not real. But I mean, human spirits or outside of that, I'm sure in some way, shape, or form that they could attach themselves to anything for whatever reasons. A lot of people say, oh, that thing meant something to it. Well, maybe it really didn't, but it's like, I'm just going to latch onto this anyways, and just, wherever it goes, I go, kind of thing.
And there's stuff out there though that wants to scare you too. I mean, the doll factor is a creepy factor. It's a psychological thing,
right?
And, things out there that get off on scaring the shit out of people, and those things, yeah, there's a lot of psychological. When it comes to more physical, like if there's a physical danger or psychological, it's usually psychological. You get scratched and stuff like that. But it's mainly like a psychological attack usually.
Yeah.
Well, dolls were created actually. Well, dolls were actually back in the day were basically used to, when somebody died, was to kind of capture their spirit so that you could hold on to them and keep them in the doll. So, I mean, that was why they were created long ago. Obviously, as time has gone on, we've got different types of dolls. We have all different types of things. It's changed. But a lot of people are saying, there's a lot of ways that you could capture spirits if you wanted. I don't know about the whole theory of capturing spirits. I don't know how I feel on that. I don't have enough, experience or research to even know if that's something that can validly.
There's no such thing as ghost Pokemon balls.
What? No. Vacuum to suck it up into a canister and hold it. Yeah, I've seen so many things. And I'm just
Ghostbusters isn't real. What?
Things like protection, like charms and spells and stuff that were almost like the entity was playing along until the person invoked it to the point to where it could manifest in like a danger, like a more harmful level to them, and then the protection spell didn't work. It's almost like, how much of that stuff is just like false security, like what that's just like leading you on to.
I think that you would need to, you would need to have the knowledge of how to do so. If you were going to create a Dybbuk box, these are like something was done long ago, and it wasn't something that everybody knew how to do. So I wouldn't think that like you could just look up a YouTube video on how to create a Dybbuk box. Well, you probably could. I'm sure it's out there, but would it be like legit? Would you really be able to do it? Probably not. It's same thing with, I've seen people looking up, how to make a voodoo doll and, put a curse on somebody and, none of that crap works. So it's like, whatever. Let's see. Foxfire says, I don't think you should hold on to a spirit. Put yourself in their place. Yeah, absolutely. Why would we want to?
one of the things that I do tell people is, when you have a loved one that passed away, yeah, it sucks. It's horrible. And it's going to suck for quite some time. But never try to connect with them. Don't reach out to somebody that claims that they can. Just leave it be. You may, holy crap. Yeah. I knew that was an iPhone.
That's his reminder that he's got to start his stream here in a few minutes.
Yeah, I have to go on to my YouTube channel now to
absolutely
have scheduled live stream. So it was great being on here.
Tell everybody what your live stream is, because we'll be done in about 4 minutes, and they can head over to check you out.
Okay, well, it's on the YouTube channel Devil's Hour Productions. Basically, it's just a celebration thing of Helena and I getting married and just hanging out with friends, basically.
Congratulations, man.
Yay!
So, yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Matt, for being here. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Bye.
All right. So, yeah, I always tell people don't reach out. Like,
I agree, though.
You never know what you're contacting, too. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I have had, because so many people I know claim to be psychic. I give people readings all the time. Not so much anymore, but I used to all the time. And the one downside is that I can read for other people. I cannot read and connect with my own family. So it made it hard because I lost 5 people back to back.
I have to voice something here. People, the whole demonic thing, I know everything's demons nowadays because it's a baddish thing to say. But though rare, there are things out there that are beyond so evil that you can't even comprehend it. I've done a lot of research. I've got a lot of experience with cases. I'm not saying they're all demonic, but there is something to actually there is something to be cautious about out there. And
yeah, absolutely.
But not everything's demons. Not everything's demons.
No, yeah, I agree with that. No. But I was just saying, going back to the about the psychics, I will tell you, I've had so many people say, "Oh, I want to give you a reading," and I'm like, "Okay." I have not really had anybody that has been able. It's just a very generalized reading. Like with mine, I tell the spirit, I really need something that like nobody but this person I'm doing the reading for is going to know, so that it gives them something to immediately connect with. And I can't get any of that. So, but again, maybe I'm just not supposed to. Maybe, death is a part of life and you just move on. So, some people mean it, some people.
You know what they say though, you know what they say, none of us are making it out of here alive, So.
Yeah, that's
true.
Yeah, a couple of years back, I had a heart attack. I actually almost died, according to the doctors. And I was not at one time. Nope, whatever. Like, it didn't bother me. It didn't scare me to die.
That's what I hear. People say that.
When I had my near-death experience, that's exactly how it was too, Joe. I had 4 young children at the time that I would never ever want to leave behind, and I did not think about them not once. And it really bothered me when I came back, because I was like, wow, how could I be so happy I wouldn't even think about how leaving my kids behind. But yeah, when you're in that space, it's like euphoria. You just don't.
You just know everything's going to be okay, and you're calm. You're not anxious. Nothing. And I've heard that from several people that.
Yeah, I didn't.
There's no anxiety there, or fear, or anything.
Maybe kind of, sort of. I had a near-death experience in such a way I didn't die or anything like that, but almost. I was still conscious. That's what I'm saying. But. Yeah, never once was I like, I don't want to die. I was like, whatever happens.
Well, that's, maybe that's kind of comforting for some people probably to know that, because I don't know. It's just that's a big unknown. What happens?
Right.
Hey Joe, Barry Agosa is saying, Joe, do you know about the Philip experiments?
That is something we'll have to get into at another time, because we got a minute left?
Yeah, we got a minute left. but great question. We could bring Joe back and we can have a different show about that.
It's called what, the Philip experiments?
Yeah.
Never heard of it. Interesting.
You know what? You probably have, but It's being called something else.
Okay, well, okay. I think
Like
I
the
might.
Estes method. We didn't
Oh,
call the Estes method the Estes method.
okay, okay. I
It
think
was
I know.
the sensory
Right, right.
blah, 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 that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the when you put the things on with the white noise
Interesting,
and
very
everything.
interesting though. I mean, interesting results there.
Yeah, definitely interesting
Probably
results.
interesting things out there, but especially right now, there's some interesting gadgets that have come out recently, and it just it keeps evolving. But will we ever know what without a doubt what's out there?
Never know.
You never
Never know.
know.
As time keeps going, you never know. All right, Joe, we are at the end of the show. Why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you, contact any kind of YouTube channel, anything that you'd like to share with everybody?
Just look up Entity 7 Paranormal. That's my YouTube channel. It's there's paranormal stuff on there, but when we go live, we get crazy. Like so just a heads up. But I mean, really, I don't give up like my email or anything like that.
Yeah.
I try to like
keep it a little separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Just even when people find my Facebook page, it's like they're not even on my friends, list, so that they can send them direct to you. But like the message requests, I can see all of these, messages people are sending, and it's great. In fact, I had somebody contact me today on the show page, wanted to invite me out here in Northern California to meet with this other team and investigate. But it kind of went left because right away they were saying, the guy was saying, "Oh, by the way, are you single? Because you're really pretty." And I'm like, okay, hold on. What does that have to do with investigating? Like,
they wanted to investigate, all right.
Right. And I'm like, and then the guy's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. And then tries to call me. Now I'm not answering a video call. And plus I was at work, and he's like, "Oh, I just wanted to apologize." And then immediately he like switches everything and says, "Oh yeah, well, we're not going to be able to investigate now. The owner doesn't want to, the business doesn't want to allow us." And I was like, "Yeah, nobody." So everything was off about it. But yeah, it's weird the kind of contact you'll get from social media.
Yeah, I've for a while there got some weird stuff. We'll say that I have received pictures that I didn't ask for. And it was really bizarre. I was like, what is going on? Why am I? So yeah, I really don't like.
Try to keep that separate. Yeah.
The weird stuff out of it. It's like,
and people are wondering if I'm going live. No, I'm not going live tonight. Matt is actually the one.
Yeah, Matt's going to go live.
So.
It sounds interesting. All your guys' projects and stuff. Look forward to checking them out.
Yeah, for everybody that has not seen it, I want you to go out and check out the Harrisville Haunting. Now that it's out already, right, Joe?
It's been out. You can watch it on let's see, Prime, Apple TV Plus. You can get it on the Google Play Store. Like, it's all over the place. You can also watch it on YouTube on Devil's Hours Production for free. You're gonna have to deal with ads. Or you can watch it on YouTube Movies. I can't even name all the places that it's on. It's all over the place. It is out there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so everybody go out there, look it up, check it out. It sounds like there's lots of different platforms that you can check it out on. I'm definitely going to check it out because I didn't realize where I could find it. So I'm going to check it out, and I'll give you my feedback. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the new one too, Joe. So
that may be a theater release. We have that pool, so that may be a theater release. We will see what happens.
All right. Well, keep me updated. I'd love to know more. And then when it's time to come out, we'll definitely have you and Matt back on so we can talk about it, So again, I appreciate you coming on and talking tonight. It's been a great show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We will be back next Sunday. Make sure to join us. And also on Thursday evenings at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can catch me on Top Secret News. Last Thursday's show was about abductees and My Lab projects. We have a person coming forward to tell his story. So we had all kinds of technical difficulties this last Thursday. So he will be back on a special episode. So make sure to keep on top of that. Everybody in the chat room, thank you so much for engaging and asking all of the questions from all the social media platforms. And again, we will see you next week. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Have a good evening.
Good night, guys.